Hello, what we're going to talk about today is how to write a critical analytical essay or response. This is the second major writing skill that you need to know in English 30-1. So your final exam for this course is going to be one of these critical analytical responses to a literary text. So just remember that. And just a little side note, learning this type of essay will also be advantageous for anybody who's pursuing post-secondary education. So what will happen is you will be given a prompt that gives you an idea or a topic to consider. So this is like in the personal response essays, you were given a prompt in a box. The same thing is going to happen for a critical analytical essay, and they will look fairly similar. It's how we're responding to them that is different. You will also be given the text that you are going to write about. Now, when you go to write your final exam, you will not be given a text. You'll be able to choose which texts you think fit that prompt the best. So just want to focus on the words critical and analytical. Critical is just asking you to evaluate or judge a piece of literature. You don't necessarily have to criticize in a negative way, although you may do so if that works. Analytical means you're studying something really carefully and examining it really closely, again, to hopefully bring your point across with regards to a thesis. When you are preparing for this, there's a couple things. For the final exam, you will be required to pick your own literature from the course. And when you do this, make sure you consider both the topic question and your comfort level with that piece of literature. If you didn't understand the film at all, that's probably not something that you want to write about in your final exam. So you always want to pick something that you know really well. One other important thing is your controlling idea or the thesis and your text that you choose must be considered together. So it's just saying there needs to be a link between the two. So it goes further here. It says you must select a text that deals with the controlling idea about what you are writing. So an example of this is if your controlling idea is how people are pressured by society to conform to certain role expectations, stories like Two Kinds and Barn Burning would work really well. But a fortunate mistake might not work that well. So it's just saying make sure you match up your thesis statement with the prompt with the text. So they all have to line up. So parts of a critical analytical essay needs to be a minimum of 5 paragraphs, needs to include an introductory paragraph, 3 supporting body paragraphs, and finally a concluding paragraph. These are just some length guidelines. People ask this question all the time, and this again is just a guideline. It should be between 750 and 1250 words, but this is only a guideline. The quality of your work, not the quantity, is the most important. Your intro paragraph should be around 5 to 6 sentences. Each body paragraph should be around 8 to 12 sentences. And your concluding paragraph should be approximately 3 to 4 sentences. And if you're asking, well, I still don't know how to write this essay, you actually probably do because it's very, very similar to a personal essay. So some tips and reminders. So the introductory paragraph, this is essentially the same as a personal essay, so you can go back and look at that video in Unit 1. What is different, though, is the blueprint. Instead of having 2 examples with a personal experience, now we have 3 examples from the text and no personal experience. So your blueprint is going to give 3 examples from the text. As a reminder, in an intro, we don't provide any evidence. We want to keep it nice and short and sweet and concise. And make sure your last sentence is an assertive thesis connected to the topic and the texts you have chosen. For a film, instead of the author, what you would do is cite the director. The body paragraphs in a critical analytical are slightly more formal, but they still have the same format. It requires 2 to 3 supporting details with exploration and commentary. So again, go back and look at the videos for writing a body paragraph for literature in Unit 1. You really want to see if you can be predominantly on the side of 3 supporting details rather than 2. There needs to be at least 3 body paragraphs. And when you do write your final, just a reminder, these can be different characters and examples from different texts, but in class and this one that you're writing now, it's going to be from the film. Your conclusion, it's essentially the same as a personal essay. So again, have another look at video in Unit 1 for concluding paragraphs. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to your instructor, and they should be able to help you along your way.